Welcome back to another episode of ROC Boys Football, working through each NFL team, giving them our thoughts and opinions on their overall 2022 NFL Draft Haul. We got the New York Jets before we do. Just wanted to thank you guys for all the support you guys have given us through the NFL draft content, the college football content. It is very much appreciated. If you guys do like the content, go subscribe, like the video. Dope. Let's get into it. One of our favorite draft class hauls, the New York Jets. Take it away, D.
The fact that they were able to get Jermaine Johnson, and I'll start with that because that's the headline. I don't know what world we're living in that he fell to 26, but that's such an – I mean, I don't even know. I'm like speechless.
Top 10 prospect on our board.
That they needed an edge rusher, and they ended up getting a top 3 guy, in my opinion, at 6. So that's your 26. So that's just like – good on them, I guess.
I like really worked Jermaine Johnson so much where I wanted the Bills to take him at 25 just because he was there in the
and we didn't even need it.
We don't even need it. We don't even need it, but if he's going to be there, I wanted him. I was okay that we obviously got the DB, Kyer Elam. But in terms of addressing what they need, they get Ahmad Sauce Gardner, one of the best DBs in the class, addressing probably the biggest hole in the New York Jets roster. And then they go out and help their second-year quarterback, Zach Wilson, with our wide receiver 1, Garrett Wilson, at 10. Obviously, the Falcons took Drake London. And then a home run. You know Robert Saleh was sitting there, and he just kept seeing Jermaine Johnson fall on the board. He's like, all right, we got to make a move. We got to go use our capital, trade up, and get this guy.
And you know what was the genius of the draft is, like, because Stingley went 3, I think that forced their hand. Like, they had to go Gardner because he was going to go before their 10th pick, right?
Yes.
And then they couldn't address the edge at 10 because the wide receivers were getting they got poached, and they didn't necessarily know that because only the Falcons had taken one. But if they waited till like their what did they have? Like they had a later pick or early second, they're not getting a good receiver if they waited. So like the thing, even though I guess they didn't, I don't know if they were predicting it, but whatever they did, it worked out perfect because they wouldn't have been able to address the edge rusher position particularly well because they had to move on the receivers and corners based on how the draft was going.
Yes.
And then to have Jermaine fall to them, and it's just it's like hard to even put into words how good of a draft I thought it was for them.
The one hole I have is Jeremy Ruckert. I didn't love the Breece Hall pick, but I thought he was a number 1 running back on the board. And if they felt they needed to address that, get the running game going with Zach Wilson, I'm all for it. The Jeremy Ruckert pick, he's a good inline blocking tight end, but I don't know if he gets enough credit for being pretty good in the passing game just because he wasn't a feature in that Buckeye offense.
He's a very unknown because Ohio State hasn't thrown the ball to a tight end in 5 years, really. So. And
then Max Mitchell, your guy.
That's my guy.
He was a kind of a developmental guy, graded out extremely well, but he just still needs to fill out that frame. And then a guy that's my guy, Michael Clemens, in the 4th round, a guy that has all the traits. He's long, he's explosive, he just is really raw. He doesn't really use his hands that well when he's rushing.
He's worth a shot on late. That's absolutely for sure. If you took him in like the 3rd or 2nd round, like then it's like, oh, maybe you're jumping because he's not a guy I think with a super high probability of being a starter in the NFL, but worth a shot here because you're right. He had really great moments in college. Like there were times where you're like, ooh, this guy can really, really play. So,
yep. And then you address Donovan Knight too, who I think if this running back class, because of the COVID year eligibility, wasn't as deep, I think he would be a day 3 pick. He ends up falling to an undrafted free agent spot. I think the Jets get a nice little gem there as well. He's a very good running back from NC State. Their favorite pick of the draft, and then I know you don't grade draft picks, but how do you evaluate this draft overall?
I mean, Jermaine Johnson's the pick, of course. I mean, there's incredible value, position and need. And it's, again, I just say, like, they really did it perfect. I don't think they allowed themselves to get sniped on the 3 positions they probably really wanted, secondary, wide receiver, edge. And they didn't allow themselves to get poached on any of them. And they got, in my opinion, 3 potentially top 10 players.
All 3 of them. I think Garrett Wilson might have been 12, but Sauce Gardner was a top 10 guy. Jermaine Johnson was a top 10 guy.
But you could argue Garrett Wilson is a top 10 guy.
Wide receiver 1.
He's like really good.
And then a couple steals, a couple of guys that we had comfortable grades on with Max Mitchell and Michael Clemens, guys that we like. I give it an A. Like, if I'm grading the draft, it's one of the best draft classes. I know it wasn't loaded with picks, but they used those picks to trade up and get guys that just shouldn't have been falling, like Jermaine Johnson. I think Jermaine Johnson was easily the best pick in this draft. As a Buffalo Bills fan, obviously not too thrilled they had a great class, but I do think they're a couple years
not worried about them
with the boys. Again, thank you guys.
The Bills did their thing too.
Yeah, we did. Thank you guys for checking us out, though. Good draft for all you New York Jets fans. I'm excited to see how these guys pan out for y'all, and we'll be back with some more NFL draft content later. Peace, y'all.